Hi, everyone. So we have pretty good number of people to start the webinar. So I'll again welcome you all to the webinar for Pitch Perfect event. That is also part of a Construction Technology Day, the third edition of CTD 2024 that is going to happen at IIC Bangalore. For this webinar, we are going to be focusing on the Pitch Perfect event. And for today's webinar, we have Saurabh, who represents the organizing team of Pitch Perfect event. And we have Vivin from Zequa Ventures, who's going to be one of the judges of the Pitch Perfect event. And since I see more people are joining in, I have a quick question for all the attendees to answer in. Either you can answer in the Q&A or feel free to turn off your mic and camera, turn on your mic and camera and say your answer. So the question is, what is the weirdest thing you have heard when you have pitched your idea to the investors or VCs? You had any idea, you have pitched your idea to any investor or VC. So what was one few of the weird responses you have heard from them? Feel free to type in your answer in the Q&A, or you can even say it out. There's no responses, so should I consider that everybody had a green signal from the VCs all the time?
That would be very nice.
Like sort of like this. They have one, like sort of like this. Yeah.
So maybe we kick off.
Yeah.
Saurabh, do you want to start with some of the things that
Yes.
you want to discuss?
Yeah, I'll get us started here. Thanks for trying that out, Mustafa. I think we're trying to accomplish something with a new set of folks, and it's always an interesting thing to see how the reaction is. But yeah, welcome everyone, and thank you for sparing the time to join this webinar. As Mustafa mentioned, we are going to talk about what this event is about and what we plan to accomplish. For the next 40 minutes, the way we are planning to break down the rest of the time is the first 20 minutes is what we will take to share what the event is about and what we plan to accomplish. We will keep around 20 minutes for Q&A towards the end. And if you do have questions, you can post it in the Q&A section of this Teams meeting. We'll try to make that Q&A interactive, so you can turn off your mic or turn on your mic, and we can take those questions. We are organizing this event, Pitch Perfect event, as part of the Construction Technology Day, which is happening on 18th of November in Bangalore at IISc, Indian Institute of Science. So this is the second year for us to organize Construction Technology Day. Last year we organized it at IIT Bombay. And we had a pretty good turnout. We had around 300 participants, and 66 different companies participated from the industry and academia. And we had a mix of technology users as well as technology builders last year. And we plan to kind of have a bigger event this year at Indian Institute of Science at Bangalore. I think the Pitch Perfect event is an enabler for the technology builders to come in and showcase how they're transforming the construction landscape by the use of their technology, and showcase it to a panel of VCs, and this time we have an attractive panel of VCs, and they come from different sectors, such as Vivin coming in from the construction technology Contech as a Contech VC. Aditya, again, coming from brick and mortar as a Contech venture partner. We do also have a couple of VCs from corporate. So, for example, we have Keshav from Brigade Reap, as well as Prarthi Patel from Pidilite, where they manage venture funds to invest in technology to transform the construction landscape. As part of the panel, we also have a couple of folks who are seasoned entrepreneurs. Kalyan Vaidyanathan, who has been one of the drivers to see how the construction landscape can be transformed by the use of information management applications such as Nadi, and Ashish Goyal, who has been the CEO and co-founder of Urban Ladder and currently an advisor at Climatex Capital. Along with all the participants for the Pitch Perfect event being able to present to the VCs, they will also be able to get the attention of other construction technology enthusiasts from the industry and academia and get their inputs. Along with and I think part of getting the inputs would be to see how best they can give feedback to how you're about the product market fit and how to enable a successful product development for each of the participants and the presenters. Along with the getting the feedback from the panel of VCs, the companies who are shortlisted for the Pitch Perfect event would also get an opportunity to present their applications through by us providing an expo booth. And that will give them an opportunity to interact with the rest of the audience for the Construction Technology Day over the 2 days, which is 18th and 19th of November. They would also get 2 event passes and travel and accommodation support, and all of that accumulating to approximately 1 lakh rupees of monetary value between the booth and the passes and the accommodation and travel. So that is another benefit beyond the benefit of getting inputs from the experts in the area of construction technology. Since we have more than 6 applicants for this event, we have identified an approach to shortlist the best 6 presenters for the Pitch Perfect. And as part of that process, the first milestone is for the interested applicants to fill out the application form, which is part of the screen, if you can see, and we will share the link to this after the webinar. But there is an application form that through which we plan to get the applicants submitting their interest and their presentation. So that's the first milestone, which is on the 16th of September. And then in the week of 15th October is when we will organize presentation sessions with the panel of judges, which will be virtual, and through which we will shortlist the 6 presenters and the 6 technology companies that will get the opportunity to present at the Pitch Perfect event in the Construction Technology Day. So that overall is the process that we are going through for this effort. We also have one of the judges, Vivin, and Vivin is also part of the core team for CTI Foundation. CTI Foundation is the organization that is organizing the Construction Technology Day and also enabling the Pitch Perfect event. So I would like to introduce Vivin here. And Vivin, thank you for making the time. I know it's maybe late evening for you, sorry, early morning. My bad. And so with this, I'd like to maybe open it up for you to give a quick introduction and maybe share some sentiments about this event that we are organizing for the first time here in India. And then I do have a couple of questions that I would like to use to kind of kick off the conversation here, and also um, um, advocate that others who are participating in this event to kind of come up with more questions. So yes, Vivin, handing it over to you.
Thanks, Robert. Thanks for having me, and it's always fun to be part of a CTD event. So, a quick introduction. I'm a general partner at Zakua Ventures, which is an early stage fund focused on investing in the built environment. We deploy capital worldwide. I'm based in San Francisco, but spend quite a bit of my time in India as well. Uh, what we've seen over the last couple of years from the Indian ecosystem perspective gives us a lot of optimism about the market. The quality of startups that are starting to come out, the traction that they're starting to get now, the amount of investment that's going into infrastructure and buildings in India is remarkable. And I think this event is very timely. It's timely because it is a showcase event where startups can come in and get a lot more visibility into various set of stakeholders. So obviously they're investors, but they're also customers. They're also future people you could potentially hire. So from that visibility perspective, I think this is a really good platform for companies to come and showcase what they're doing. And I'm really excited to be back here. And also this year, the scale seems to be much bigger than what we've had before, and very excited to be part of this.
Thank you, Vivin. It's always a pleasure to meet you and interact with you. I do have a couple of questions here. I think you may have been part of similar efforts across the globe, and um, how would you say who would be the maybe the applicable folks to participate in this event?
So for me, it would be anybody who's helping impact and improve the construction value chain, right? And construction value chain could be in the design phase. So solutions which optimize design could be design automation, could be design collaboration, coordination. You have these topics. Could be folks in the pre-construction phase, right? Pre-construction, estimation, takeoffs, any of these solutions in that space. Could be in the construction phase itself, where you're looking at project management, procurement solutions, equipment solutions, new materials in the space. So anything that can help us either decarbonize construction or anything that can help us make construction more efficient in terms of productivity, automation, and so on, or even anything that can make it more resilient, right, for inspection use cases and things like that. And we would say design and construction are the big focus areas. Maybe there are a few solutions which operate as well, but I think design and construction is where we tend to spend a lot of focus. And with people coming into the conference as well, that's where they would spend a lot of their time.
And so, Vivin, as we get closer to the submission date for potential participants to present their idea, how would you best describe like a good submission is?
So I would say there are two levels of this, right? One is what is the criteria for qualifying to be applicable to this, and there you need to have a problem that you're solving in the construction space, and it's a pain point that needs to be clearly laid out. Two, you need to have at least an MVP to be able to showcase to participant, and so on. And then there's a second part of saying what will make you stand out. Right? What will make you stand out is how you're able to articulate why you're the right founding team to be building the solution. What is your source of differentiation? How is your approach different from what's been done before? Why do you think you can scale effectively? I think all of those are important topics. And if you can talk about, okay, why this is a large market, why you have a unique strategy to scale and get to a lot of customers, what's your traction, what's your team's background, and how there's a great fit in terms of you solving this problem, I think that makes you much more attractive. So I would say the first category is just to qualify to be considered, and the second is to make sure it pushes you up the ladder when it comes to qualification and selection as part of the process. And
Um,
go ahead, Saurabh.
no. I was just kind of moving on to see if we've started to get any questions from the audience.
Not yet. No questions.
I think I'll encourage all the folks who are on the call and who are planning to participate in this event to use this as an opportunity to ask questions. I think we are going to open it up. This is the second half of the session where we would like to make it more interactive, see what questions you may have that we've not covered. So yes, with this, maybe I'll ask the folks to either enter the questions in the chat box or just unmute themselves and ask the questions vocally. And
Yeah.
you can also raise, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Hi, Mustafa. Siddharth here.
Hi, Siddharth. Yeah, please.
Hi, Saurabh, and hi, Vivin. Vivin and I have spoken, last year CTD. Post that, I think, couple of exchange already. So one help or insight I need as a part of suggestion is in the last 1.5 year we had we have done a small pivot. I would not call it pivot, but we have done small changes in our model, and it helped us gain good traction in terms of a focused proof of concept. But as a founder, when I'm there in front of VC to tell the entire story, what should be my approach to take this POC, the example of POC, to showcase the entire picture? Like, do you have a framework for it, or how it should be done in an ideal way?
So what I would say is about is talk about the problem you want to be solving, right? So what the VC wants to hear is what is that you're addressing and what is your vision for example. For example, if you're solving the problem of labor in the engineering space, if that's an example, what is the pain point that people are facing today, and what is the solution that you're building, and why is the solution that you're building better than existing solutions which exist? So that's the first thing that the VCs will want to know. The second thing VCs will want to know is what's your approach and why is it scalable, right? You're saying, okay, this is the market. I've taken a beachhead, which is basically your pilot. And I've taken the beachhead because this is the more pressing need at this point in time, and it's easier to tackle and easier to solve at this point. But you have a clear pathway of going from that beachhead to the larger solution. So you have to take them through the story of saying, okay, there's a big problem. I'm trying to solve it. I'm uniquely positioned to solve it, but I don't want to take all of it at once. I'm just taking a sliver of that. And then based on solving that sliver, I'll get enough traction and I build a pathway to be solving the larger problem. And while I'm doing this, okay, this is my product differentiation, this is my GTM, this is how my business model will look like. And eventually, this is why it'll be a very large company over a period of time. So that's the story I would build when you're pitching that.
Great. Noted, Vivin. Hopefully, when I work on it, maybe I'll DM you if I get any queries.
Sounds good, man. And as we wait for all of these questions, I think one thing for all founders to keep in mind is think of your audience will be there. So your presentation that will be up there has always to be attuned to audience. In your and your audience will be a mix. So obviously, if you're fundraising and that's your main objective on the stage, then you would make it very targeted. You would want to fine tune it towards the investors. If you're also looking to showcase your solutions to customers, you have to have some element of what the customers need as well, right? If you're recruiting, you want to have some aspects of why you're a fast growing company, some elements of culture and stuff like that. Doing all of it together is very hard. So you will have to pick one or two during the demo day, and you'll have to address to that, right? So try not to be focused on everyone is what I would say, and pick one or two of your audiences while you structure your presentation. And sorry, do we know how much time they have? Is it 10 minutes for presentation?
15 minutes on the day of the event for every company.
Okay. And the first slides that they submit doesn't exactly have to be the slides that you present at the demo day itself. This is more in terms of us understanding and shortlisting. And I would also say if there are videos or anything else that you can upload, which help us give us a better understanding of your building, more than happy to look at that as well. It's about showcasing your ability in the best possible manner.
So I'm looking at the response to the weirdest response you've heard when you've made your pitch. And I think, Vivin, I just saw that Contech kind of miss or construed as conference tech, which is pretty funny.
So it just shows how nascent our industry is, right? And this was in the US. This is not even in India. And they were like, "What the hell is Contech?" And but we come a long way. We come a long way in the last 5 years in terms of where the industry is even. And I would say it's even more nascent in India than it is in the US at this point in time. So this is a great time to actually move forward. And this demo day is a good opportunity for everyone. It's hard. The space is not easy. The space is hard. And I think all founders will agree with me on that.
Yeah. I think I see this other response to that question in terms of like when someone is going out and pitching pitching their product to a potential customer. I think the customer is saying that, hey, this is something I can build internally. So I'm not sure, Vivin, have you heard that in your past experience, and what advice would you give to I think the budding startups when they get to hear something like this in the market?
Just wait till they fail and then go pitch them and say, yeah, you're right. How did that go? But on a more serious note, right? Yes, I can build it on my own, comes from sometimes a lack of understanding. There are organizations which have very deep teams and who are able to build solutions, right? And we've seen some, for example, Intuit came out of Qware. The Hensel Phelps incubator solution, but these are exceptions rather than the rule, because the main job of a general contractor is to build buildings. It's not to build software. That's not the expertise. But they like custom solutions, and that's why they think they can build it.
Yeah.
Here, it's about understanding the pain point of your customers and why they think they can build it. And if they think they could build it, why haven't they built it already? Right? There's a reason it doesn't already exist, and finding out why it doesn't exist. Right? They don't have time, they don't have attention, they don't have resources. That's the first thing. Second, helping them understand is like this is priority 55 for them in terms of what they're deploying. This is priority 1 for the startup. So the startup will always win in terms of the pace of development, in terms of upkeep, in terms of attention to detail. So you are deploying solutions which get better and better over a period of time, and you need to help them realize that, right? Some of these objections also could come if they don't truly see the value of the solution, right? They'll be like, yeah, it's a solution, it's interesting, but I could build on my own and I don't want to pay so much because I don't see the value, right? When people say I can build it on my own, you want to go one level deeper and say, why are they saying that? Is this pain not extreme enough that they don't want to deploy the solution? Because I can't build it on my own. It's not tomorrow, right? It's like at some point in time, I'll be able to build this. Until then, I'm willing to live with that pain. So they probably haven't experienced the pain to the extent that pushes them to deploy the solution that you're selling to them. So are you talking to the right stakeholder? Do they have the right experience with the problems? And is this important enough for them to solve? Is also something you have to think about when you come across comments like this.
I think those are great points, Vivin. So
maybe I can add a couple of questions from the people who've been reaching out. So one common question we've heard is, once I put in my application by the 16th, can I update it after that, after the 16th, as we go on till the next milestone in October?
The 16th would be the last year. Because once we start reviewing, we're not going to go back and see if there's an updated version to review. Because once the review process starts, it's hard to do that for all startups again. So up till 16th, I think it's fine to keep updating it, but beyond 16th, it'll be hard for us to go back and revisit it. There needs to be a hard date.
Got it. Thank you. And I think we have a question from Balaji in the audience. Balaji, you want to open your mic and yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. And this is question to Mr. Vivin. Actually, now we can see a lot of, that this is around outcome as a service in both construction tech and also in general software services. And given that market size of BIM outsourcing in India, how do you see that model or any startup started to cracking on that space? And also, I think V-Construct team also is here, and they are also in good position to say about something. This
Outcome as a service is just a fancy term, right? It's like it's not something that is new or it's not something that hasn't existed in the past. It's just your solution with a software element and different type of pricing. It's like outcome as a service is no different from hardware as a service or software as a service when it first started, right? It's just that people on projects don't always want to pay for software on a recurring basis. So you're saying, okay, I'll give you a solution and solve it, right? For example, robotics today, in terms of deployment, you don't sell the product, you lease it. You'll be like, about how much activity have you done and how many holes have you drilled? I'll charge you based on drills or holes drilled and so. So it is very dependent on application. It depends on what you're trying to achieve. So outcome as a service is not something you would use for everything, but outcome as a service is a good way of sharing risk with your end customer. For example, if it's a project-based sale that you're trying to do, you want to sell them productivity of drilling, right? You just tell them, okay, for every hole that you drill, I will charge you so much. That makes sense. If it's on the design phase, you want to provide them certain design, and for every design that's generated for certain square feet, you charge them a certain value. And that is perfectly fine if that's what the customer wants. What you do want to manage is when you're offering this, you want to manage utilization. If you have a good idea that your utilization will be great based on this kind of service, then it's great. It's a great kind of product to sell. What you need to keep in mind is in some cases you want to push usage, right? When you provide a software on a job site, you want it to be used as often as possible because that gives you data to build a better product. When you charge for usage, it constrains usage sometimes. So you have to be very mindful on the pros and cons on some of these topics because they'll be like, okay, every time I use this software, I'm going to pay more. So therefore, I actually don't want to use this. I want to use it only for the most useful cases. And it doesn't become part of your culture. It doesn't become part of something you're deploying at every point in time. So you have to be very mindful on where this is useful and where this is not useful. And pricing is very tricky. Nobody gets it right the first time. It's a lot of iteration. People take years to lock it down. But having all of these different options is helpful because then you can choose which is the best fit for the customer segment that you're going after.
A couple more questions I can see. I think some of these have been asked earlier too, but I'll combine two of them. One is, do I need to have a fully developed product to participate? And the second one is, what are the key criteria for evaluating the pitches?
The fully developed product definition could vary for different people, but as long as I think you have an MVP, it's good enough. And the second part is what is the criteria? Usually we look at four things that are important, right? One is the product statement and the solution linked to it, right? What are you solving? How relevant is your solution to solving that problem and how differentiated it is? That's the first one. The second thing we will talk about is what is the founder market fit, right? What is the background of founders? Or how relevant is their experience set when it comes to solving this problem? That's the second thing. Third thing, we look at what is the current traction that you can see. whether it's in terms of pilots, whether it's in terms of customer sales or any other aspect of it, right? And finally, we talk about how do you stand out in this market, right? When it comes to your competition, when it comes to your go-to-market, when it comes to your technology stack, what is truly setting you apart from all of the field, and what makes you scalable? So those are the elements I think we'll think about when we are trying to judge the startups and the pitches.
So maybe for all the folks who joined in late, feel free to open your mic if you have any questions. You can ask Vivin and Saurabh, but you can also put them in the Q&A section of the Teams chat. Maybe another one till then. So I think we had a couple of companies who applied already that are creating new sustainable materials. So how should their application be different in terms of what, let's say, a software company will put in? Because a software company can put in, let's say, a link to their product. So how would their application be assessed?
A lot of things would be similar. The only thing that would be different with sustainable materials is us having some confidence that your results are superior to others, right? So what is backing the concept that you're saying? Do you have patents? Do you have a special composition mixture that is differentiating you? What is the performance differences that you have vis-a-vis existing solutions? What is your level of readiness? Are you at L3, 4, 5, 6? Do you have any grants that you received from various organizations? So how do we, so with materials, the question is it really true what you're saying? So will it be a developed solution which actually reaches the potential that you're sharing? And what can you provide to build credibility? Either it's some testing that you've done, or it is some patents that you've filed, or some proof or evidence that this is truly what you're intending to be, or at least directionally, this is trending towards the way that that could be very interesting. And here, again, with materials and stuff, it's not that you have a product which is completely scaled, right? The materials take a long time to truly get to market. So if we are looking at MVP solutions, we need for some proof of concept, but it's not like you're producing 1,000 tons of it at this point in time by the next market. It needs to be at least some quantity and some evidence of it being workable.
Another one I can see, I think again, we've answered this indirectly already. The question is, I already have funding for my startup. Is there still some value I can get out of this event by participating?
Absolutely, right? Because as I said, this event is investors, and investors don't just fund one round; they invest in multiple rounds, and this is like building relationships down the line, which would be very valuable for you. But just even outside of investors, you'll also have customers. This is exposure for you in terms of a larger market, in terms of deployments, and all of that, which could be very valuable. You'll also have people that you could want to be hiring. You'd want to meet other founders, learn from what's worked for them, what's not worked for them. So there are multiple aspects of this that could be very useful for you, even if you have funding. And as a kind of a founder, because I also set up my VCR, you are always fundraising. You're never not fundraising. You're always fundraising, regardless of whether you raised yesterday or you raised a year back. So you're always building those relationships.
So, will it be good to call Pitch Perfect event a Shark Tank for contact community?
No, Shark Tank is too flippant. It's more marketing than anything else. And it's like investors don't really invest like they invest in Shark Tank. It's like bidding on a product based on a 5-minute pitch. That's not what any investor worth his salt in the space would be doing. It takes a much longer process, a deeper understanding of the problem. This is an opportunity for a deeper conversation. I would be very surprised if someone writes a check just based on the pitch that's been done. Because I don't think any serious investor would do that. Maybe an angel or someone else could do that, right? That's why I would say yes, Shark Tank is good marketing, but this is probably more of uh, a slightly more serious version of Shark Tank, I would say.
Okay, one more question from the chat in the Q&A section. If I'm planning to share my MVP for the very first time, what are your recommendations, do's and don'ts?
If you're sharing your MVP for the very first time, uh, just think of this as a practice session for your future discussions, right? Ex- think of a way to make sure you get a lot of feedback on what you're sharing, because that will help you incorporate all of this to better create a better version the next time you present it. In terms of being successful during the pitch itself, uh, focus a lot on the problem that you're solving and why this MVP is a reflection of the solution being workable, right? The second thing, show clarity on your vision, on your roadmap, and what are the steps that are needed for you to go from MVP to a fully fledged solution. And talk about where your sources of differentiation are going to come from. Clearly, it won't show up too much in the product because this is early stage of the product. But talk about what you're building that will differentiate it from a future perspective, and be very clear on who your users you could be, who your ICP would be, and so on and so forth. Spend enough time on that so that people don't just see what's there; they also see what's coming, and that would be very helpful for you.
So when there is one more question, if we get to shortlist in the 20 top 20, so should there be any difference between the presentation when we present during 15 to 18th October and the top six if we get to top six? So what should be the difference in the presentation when we present during the selection week and during the D-Day at the Pitch Perfect event?
There doesn't need to be much of a difference, right? But there could be because the interviews we'll do from 20 to 6 will probably be slightly longer than the time you get during the demo day, right? There'll probably be a little bit more interaction during the shortlisting phase to understand the solutions a little bit better. So the depth of discussion might be higher when it goes from 20 to 6 than it's on the 6. But 6, think of the forum as well. One is a smaller group session where the shortlisting is happening, and one is a larger audience where you're presenting to a lot more people. So the content might be slightly higher level. So you have to create that impact in 10 to 15 minutes when you're on stage. So the kind of presentation, kind of slides you use will probably be a little bit different when you're presenting to the judges early on from a shortlisting process. So depth would be different, kind of marketing that you create will be slightly different. So it, you could choose to have the same slides, but I would think if based on the format and the audience, it would change a little bit.
Okay, one more I can see. So what kind of feedback can one expect from the judges panel, and um, how would this help the founders who are applying for this? Like, what should they expect to gain out of this if they make the interim event and the main event?
The feedback could be multifold, right? The feedback could be like, okay, one is what is the investor looking at and what are they missing? What are they lacking in the pitch right now? Or what is working, right? Both aspects on what is working, what's not working, that kind of pitch, that kind of feedback you get. There'll definitely be questions that come up from a product differentiation perspective, go-to-market perspective, pricing perspective. All of these questions is where you can get feedback on during the process, but also during the demo day and so on and so forth. Not all of it will happen right on stage. So the onus is also on the founder to some extent to follow up on these and have a detailed discussion because you're not going to be able to have that with all judges while you're on the stage. But you can get feedback on every aspect of the business.
I think we have a couple of minutes before we close. So if Dhruv, we don't have any further questions, then I can go ahead and close the meeting.
Yeah, not that I can see on the chat. So I think
Okay, Vivin, is that okay?
That's good for me.
Okay, cool. So thank you for participating in this webinar today. I hope all of us got clarity in terms of what this event is about and how it presents opportunities for all the technology builders to get a platform to network with the larger community to get feedback from expert VCs to get external validation on the product market fit and I think and just like for all of us to collectively work towards transforming the construction industry by the use of technology. So really excited about the next steps on this. As we will send some information to all the participants to give better clarity to the next steps and the process we are following. And also a couple of contacts to whom you can reach out for any further questions. So thank you everyone for participating today and have a nice day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.